out of Newton Falls, Mark Baker, the head coach of the Tigers girls basketball team. Coach, thanks so much for bringing your insight into us and giving us a preview of this season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Always a
This,
pleasure to be on the show.
oh, awesome. We love having you anytime, Coach, anytime. So one of the things we want to talk about first is you've had the girls with you for a week or so now. You have a couple weeks till the start of the season. How have practices been going? How have you been able to get together with the team?
We just last night probably had about our fifth or sixth practice after volleyball season wound down and soccer season wound down. So we're maybe a little bit behind some of the other teams. But I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of energy in the gym. I've really enjoyed myself with this group of kids. Really trying to, the girls are really trying to really take on to every word that you're saying. Really trying to apply everything that you're doing as specific as they possibly can. So I've enjoyed teaching. It's really been a good revitalizing year for me.
Let's bring out the meet the team segment of our interview and have you go through your roster and the names that we have to know before we go down to Newton Falls.
Some names you're going to know. You're going to recognize, a couple of my seniors. Danny Drake. She's been playing varsity now here for several years. It's a name you probably recognize from volleyball and softball as well. Gigi Morgan is another one of my seniors. Those are a couple of kids that really have been in my program since they were probably in about the second grade. And a name you probably haven't maybe heard, at least you haven't heard in a year or so. This year I'm going to get Chloe Butler back from injury. She actually had some surgery on a shoulder last year that prevented her from playing the majority of the year. So a lot of people are going to get to see Chloe play this year, and she's back to typical Chloe form. Athletic individual, can run, can jump, can put the ball on the floor. It can drive, it can shoot, it can do a lot of things. So otherwise, you're going to see some. I got a couple. I've got a few juniors this year. Logan Elliott, unfortunately, is out for the season with an injury. And then I'll have Lily Sate, who's been playing for me since she was a freshman. And then Kennedy Howard will be another one of my juniors that is going to be a shooter for us in a wide variety of different assets. And then you'll probably play several sophomores this year as well. Madison Davis, sophomore, got a little bit of time last year as a freshman. Morgan Kendall got a little time last year as a freshman. Two athletic girls, strong, physical, that can do a lot of things for us. And then you'll probably see Elvira Stakoviak at times. You'll see Tori Fanton at times. A couple guards for me. Quick players, long, defend, make a lot of deflections, make a lot of little things happen here and there on the basketball court. So I look forward to seeing the kids get to play this year.
Here in that roster, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of upperclassmen leadership this year. How much are you going to lean on those leaders that you have on your team to really guide the team this year?
I think you're always going to lean on those kids. For us, we've been young. It feels like the last couple, 2-3 years, we've been young, and now finally these kids are juniors and seniors finally. So many of them lead by example. They're the first ones in line for drills and things like that. They're the ones that are clapping and being energetic. But I think you're always going to lean towards your seniors for leaderships. But I think I have a lot of younger kids as well that are able to kind of go in there and lead by example. And a lot of the girls in my program, because we do a skills camp for our youth kids. They're really good about putting things into a different perspective and putting themselves in the shoes of another individual to help explain drills and things that we're trying to accomplish in the gym to the younger players. So I've got a lot of young ladies that take on minor leadership roles from time to time.
Coach, as we dive into your schedule, the first thing we have to talk about is, of course, your conference, a really good MVAC grade tier that you play in. You had several teams make deep tournament runs last year. When you look at it and you look at the league, what do you see out of it this year?
Again, I see a lot of competitive teams. I don't think you can't have a bad night, and you're gonna struggle in the league. Starting here close to Newton Falls, LeBray has been a young team last year, but a young team that has extraordinary talent, and bringing in another class of really good. Coach Rowe does a fantastic job with her young ladies over there. Going down the road, you have Champion. Brings back a lot of talent. I know they got some kids back from injury, so I expect them to be really strong. Crestview's still strong with the people that they have down there. Garrettsville, obviously, Garrettsville's probably won 3 district championships in a row right now. So they're still going to be talented. They have talent in the program, top to bottom, and really all their women's athletics over there. So, but don't you're not gonna go to sleep on anybody. Brookfield has new energy in the gym. A new coach over there. Liberty has got a new coach. Again, new energy over there in the gym. So I think you got to have to come to play on any given night.
That's the case. That's going to be tough enough, but we know that you also test yourself plenty in the non-conference schedule. Who are some teams outside of the MVAC that you're really excited to go up against?
I look for, game 1 for us, our actual first game is going to be against Ravenna. So we're going to start right off the get-go with a Division I team that I'm sure is more athletic than us, and we're going to have to, it's going to get us outside of our comfort zone to try to get us ready for that league play. But we've got some other teams on the schedule now. We've played Southeast for years, really strong women's tradition over there at Southeast. Warren JFK. Warren JFK is an up-and-coming team, going to be really strong this year as well. We still play some Division II competition teams. I know we got Lakeview on the schedule, who's always pretty strong, and several others that are probably too many to name. But the schedule is certainly always jam-packed here at Newton Falls.
That game 1 is fastly approaching, Coach. I'm wondering, what's on your checklist of things that you want to see out of your team in the practices before you get to game 1?
I really emphasize with, I try to emphasize with several of the players that I need you to get better in this particular aspect to grow the team concept. I need this player. I've got to get you to be a better defensive player. I've got to get you to have better footwork. I've got to get you to become a better rebounder or a smarter individual when it comes to rebounding things. But collectively as a group, we're playing together well as a team. We're sharing the ball, distributing the ball really well, which is not always the easiest thing to develop as a coach. But cohesively, defensively, we're not real big, not real tall, and we're collectively going to have to be very aggressive when it comes to rebounds. We're going to have to we're going to have to beat people to those. I know a lot of coaches refer to them as 50-50 balls, but here at Newton Falls, we refer to it as an 80-20 ball because if it's loose, we have an 80% chance that we're going to beat you to it. So it's not the size of the tiger in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the tiger.
I love it, Coach. That's awesome. Let's talk about your staff that you've put together this year and the people that are kind of behind you, making sure this Newton Falls program is exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, my assistant coach, Tony Huschauer, who I really consider my co-head coach. There's at times where we finish each other's sentences. We know our drills that we do. I can step away from the program and it's not going to miss anything. It's going to keep on doing what it's doing. There's times where I'll say, okay, what do you want to call today? You calling the defense? You calling the offense? And we break things up significantly. I really attribute to a major part of our success that we've had here the last 19 years. I don't know if this is year 19 or year 20 for me at this point. I kind of lost track. But bringing him in that I did many years ago is a major asset to the success of the program. I did get a couple of my former players. I've got several of my former players involved in the program right now, which I'm really excited about. I've got some of my former players helping me out at the youth level. I've got some of my former players helping me out at the junior high level. And I've even got a former player, kind of coming in and assisting and helping a little bit with Coach Tony and I. And just to have that, that common vocabulary, that common expectation from top to bottom across the program is really key. And that's something I have not had in a long time. It's always a struggle to find youth coaches, but to get quality youth coaches in there. So to get some of my former players in there that are excited about it and they're excited to continue the Tiger tradition, because once a Tiger, always a Tiger here at Newton Falls. And those girls are excited. Those young women are excited to come back and give a little bit to the program.
Well, Coach, whether it's year 19 or year 20, the years definitely run together after a while. And they do that because you keep coming back to Newton Falls. You have a love for the game of basketball. You have a love for coaching. So our final question is something that we're asking all the coaches this year in our season previews is the love for the game. When did it start for you? When did you kind of catch that basketball bug?
Oh wow! I mean, first off, for me as a teacher here at Newton Falls, I don't come here because of the brick and mortar of the building. I come here because of the flesh and blood. I come here because of the people that are here, the people in the community, the kids that I have in the classroom, the kids that I have in the gym. The girls that I have in basketball, and I've coached a wide variety of sports at this point. They're the reason I'm where I'm at today. I've had success because of them, and I couldn't be happier. There's not too many people out there that had the dream of being a teacher and one day being a girls basketball coach, but that's certainly something that I'm living my dream. Where did the love for basketball for me actually come from? It actually comes from my grandmother, believe it or not. My grandmother taught me how to play basketball. This goes back to the time frame when women were not allowed to cross half court. You had 3 on one side and 3 on the other. But my grandmother was very active in the basketball community. She continued to, even as she got older, she watched it on TV, and she got me hooked on it. She was the one that had me in the driveway, teaching me how to shoot, teaching me how to handle the ball, and pushing me to be my best. There were some rough car rides home with that old lady a couple times, because if I had any kind of complaint, the response was, "Well, you better work hard." I don't know what to tell you. So that's probably where my ultimate layup came from it, and probably from her is what led me to really want to be a women's basketball coach. The reason I'm a teacher, however, it really kind of goes to my grandfather, because my grandfather didn't really get to go past much of the 8th grade in his schooling, and he had always said that if he got to do it again, he would have been a teacher. So I kind of knew it at an early age because of the influence of my grandparents, who to me was my mother and father, were my grandparents. And I knew at an early age, number one, I was going to be a teacher, and number two, I was probably going to be a girls basketball coach someday. So, and I have the best life of anything. I got a wonderful wife at home who's a coach herself, and I couldn't be happier with what I'm doing.
Coach, we are so appreciative that you take the time out of your day to come on and give us a preview of Newton Falls basketball. We love having you on. We love supporting Newton Falls, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Coach. Take care. Best of luck.